Emma Rose stared at her computer screen, trying to focus on the marketing presentation she was supposed to finish by noon. The sound of familiar laughter echoed from the break room, making her stomach twist into knots. Ryan Mitchell was at it. Again, sharing stories about their relationship to anyone who would listen. She used to wait for me every morning with coffee. Ryan's voice carried across the office. Poor girl thought I was going to propose. Instead, I had to explain that I needed someone more mature, someone who could handle a real man. Fingers tightened around her coffee cup. 6 months had passed since their breakup, yet Ryan continued to humiliate her at every opportunity. Working at Sterling Communications had been her dream job until Ryan decided to make it her nightmare. The worst part was that Ryan had been promoted to senior account manager last month, giving him even more reasons to parade around the office like he owned the place. Emma had been overlooked for the same position, despite having better qualifications and higher client satisfaction ratings. The breaking point, Emma, darling, came a voice from behind her desk. Emma turned to see Jessica Walsh, the office gossip queen, approaching with a sympathetic smile that didn't reach her eyes. I heard about the company gala next week. It must be so difficult knowing Ryan will be there with his new girlfriend. Emma forced a smile. I'll be fine, Jessica. Thanks for your concern. Of course, honey. I'm sure you'll find someone to take. Maybe one of your cousins could escort you. Jessica's tone was sweet poison. It would be such a shame if you showed. Up alone again. After Jessica walked away, Emma buried her face in her hands. The annual Sterling Communications Gala was the social event of the year. Everyone brought their significant other, and it was expected that you would attend with a date. Last year, Emma had gone with Ryan, and this year, she would rather die than show up alone and give him more ammunition for his cruel jokes. The desperate search that evening in her small apartment, Emma sat on her couch with her laptop, scrolling through websites she never thought she would visit. Escort services, companion agencies, rent-a-date platforms, the whole thing felt surreal, but she was desperate. Most of the profiles looked fake or unprofessional. Men with fake smiles, obvious stock photos, and prices that seemed too good to be true. Emma was about to give up when one profile caught her attention. Gabriel Stone. The name was simple, elegant. The photos showed a tall man in his early 30s with dark hair, sharp green eyes, and a confident posture. He wore a perfectly tailored black suit and looked like he belonged in a boardroom rather than on a companion service website. The description was brief and professional. Discreet companion for social events. Experienced in corporate environments. Available for dinners, galas, business functions. Rate $800 per evening. Emma frowned at the price. Well, it was higher than most others, but something about Gabriel's profile seemed different. More sophisticated, more real. So first contact, Emma crafted her message carefully, trying to sound professional rather than desperate. Hello, Gabriel. I need an escort for my company's annual gala this Saturday evening. The event starts at 7 and will likely run until midnight. Are you available? Please let me know if you need any additional information. The response came within 30 minutes. Hello, Emma. I'm available for Saturday evening. Before we proceed, I'd like to meet in person to discuss the details and ensure we're compatible for the event. Would tomorrow at 6 work for you? Suggest? The Meridian Cafe on 5th Street. Emma stared at the message. Most of the other profiles had simply asked for payment details and an address. Gabriel wanted to meet first, like this was a real business transaction rather than a desperate attempt to avoid humiliation. The mysterious meeting, the Meridian Cafe, was upscale but not intimidating, with soft lighting and comfortable seating. Emma arrived 5 minutes early, wearing her best business casual outfit and carrying a folder with details about the event. She had spent the afternoon researching Gabriel's background, but found nothing beyond his companion profile. At exactly 6 o'clock, the cafe door opened, and Emma's breath caught in her throat. Gabriel Stone was even more striking in person. Tall and lean with broad shoulders, he moved with the kind of confidence that commanded attention. His suit was clearly expensive, tailored to perfection, and his green eyes seemed to take in everything at once. Emma? He asked, approaching her table with a warm smile. Yes, that's me. Bess stood to shake his hand, surprised by the firm warmth of his grip. Gabriel sat down across from her, and Emma couldn't help but notice how comfortable he seemed. In the upscale environment, this was clearly not his first time in an expensive restaurant. "The business arrangement, thank you for meeting me," Emma began, opening her folder. "I have all the details about the event here. The Sterling Communications annual gala is this Saturday at the Grand Hyatt Hotel. It starts at 7 with cocktails, followed by dinner and dancing." Gabriel nodded, listening intently. "And what exactly do you need from me?" Emma felt her cheeks flush. "I need you to pretend to be my boyfriend. It's nothing inappropriate, just convincing enough that my colleagues believe we're together. There's someone at work who has been making my life difficult, and I want him to see that I've moved on." "An ex-boyfriend," Gabriel said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, Ryan Mitchell. He's been telling everyone that I'm still in love with him, that I can't get over our relationship. It's affecting my professional reputation." Gabriel leaned back in his chair, studying her face. "Tell me about him." For the next 20 minutes, Emma found herself sharing more than she had intended. She told Gabriel about Ryan's manipulation, his public humiliation tactics, and how he had cost her a promotion by spreading rumors about her emotional instability. Gabriel listened without judgment, occasionally asking clarifying questions. His attention was completely focused on her, and Emma realized it had been months since anyone had listened to her so intently. "The perfect cover story, we need a believable backstory," Emma said, pulling out her notes. "I was thinking we could say we met at a coffee shop 3 months ago. You're a consultant who travels frequently, which explains why my colleagues haven't met you before." Gabriel smiled. "Consultant in what field? Investment consulting? No? You help small businesses develop growth strategies? Interesting choice." Gabriel said, and Emma thought she detected amusement in his voice. "And how did I win you over?" Emma felt herself blushing again. "You're patient, thoughtful, and you don't try to control me like Ryan did. You respect my independence and career ambitions." "That sounds like a man worth dating," Gabriel said softly, his green eyes meeting hers. For a moment, Emma forgot this was a business transaction. There was something in Gabriel's gaze that made her heart race, something that felt dangerously real. Suspicions begin. They spent another hour working out the details of their relationship story, discussing Emma's job, her colleagues, and what Gabriel could expect at the event. Throughout the conversation, Emma noticed things that didn't quite add up. Gabriel knew about the Sterling Communications company structure without being told. When Emma mentioned that her CEO, Jonathan Sterling, would be at the event, Gabriel's expression shifted slightly. He asked specific questions about the company's recent merger activities that seemed too informed for a casual inquiry. Most surprisingly, when the check came, Gabriel paid with a Black American Express card. Emma caught a glimpse of the name. On the card, Gabriel Stone, but the card itself was the kind reserved for people with unlimited credit. "Gabriel," Emma said as they prepared to leave, "can I ask you something? Of course, have you done this before?" "The escort service, I mean." Gabriel was quiet for a long moment. "Not exactly. It's more of a favor for a friend who runs the agency. I don't usually take clients, and for what I'm paying you." Gabriel's smile was enigmatic. "Consider it a discounted rate for a worthy cause?" The growing mystery as they walked to the street, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that Gabriel was hiding something significant. His clothes were too expensive, his mannerisms too refined, and his knowledge too extensive for someone who occasionally worked as a paid companion. "I'll pick you up at 6:30 on Saturday," Gabriel said, hailing a taxi for Emma. "You don't need my address yet? Text it to me tomorrow, along with any other details you think I should know about the event." As Emma's taxi pulled away, she looked back to see Gabriel standing on the sidewalk checking his phone. Even from a distance, he looked like a man accustomed to being in control, someone who commanded respect and attention. Emma spent the ride home trying to convince herself that her suspicions were just nerves. Maybe Gabriel was simply a sophisticated man who had fallen on hard times and needed extra income. Maybe his expensive clothes were investments in his image for this type of work. But deep down, Emma knew there was more to Gabriel Stone than he was revealing. The question was whether his secrets would help her or destroy her already fragile professional reputation. As she prepared for bed that night, Emma realized she was both excited and terrified about Saturday evening. Solve one problem, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she might be creating an entirely different kind of problem. Gabriel Stone was definitely not what he seemed. The real question was what exactly he was hiding, and what it would mean for Emma when the truth finally came to light. Saturday evening arrived with Emma's nerves at an all-time high. She chose a burgundy dress that was elegant but not too flashy, paired with simple jewelry and her mother's vintage clutch. At exactly 6:30, her doorbell rang. Emma opened the door and nearly gasped. Gabriel stood there in a midnight black tuxedo that fit him like it had been made specifically for his frame. His dark hair was perfectly styled, and he carried himself with the kind of presence that made people stop and stare. "You look beautiful," he said, offering her a single white rose. "Thank you. You look like you stepped out of a magazine." Gabriel smiled as he helped her with her coat. "Shall we make Ryan Mitchell regret ever letting you go?" The ride to the Grand Hyatt was surprisingly comfortable. Gabriel asked thoughtful questions about her work, her dreams, and her family. Emma found herself sharing stories she hadn't told anyone in years. There was something about Gabriel that made her feel safe, understood. Commanding the room, the Grand Hyatt's ballroom was transformed into an elegant wonderland. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over round tables draped in cream silk. The city's skyline glittered through floor-to-ceiling windows. Soft jazz music filled the air. Emma immediately spotted Ryan near the bar, wearing his best suit and chatting with colleagues from the sales department. He looked confident, smug, exactly as she had expected. "There he is," Emma whispered to Gabriel. Gabriel followed her gaze and nodded. "Ready?" They walked into the ballroom together, and Emma noticed heads turning. Gabriel commanded attention without trying. His posture was perfect, his stride confident, and he radiated the kind of success that people naturally gravitated toward. "Emma," called out Rebecca Chen from the accounting department. "You look stunning." "And who is this handsome gentleman?" "Rebecca." "This is Gabriel, my boyfriend." "Gabriel, this is Rebecca from accounting." Gabriel extended his hand with genuine warmth. "Pleasure to meet you, Rebecca." Emma speaks about her colleagues with such fondness. Rebecca practically glowed. "How long have you two been together?" 3 months, Gabriel answered smoothly, though it feels like much longer. When you meet the right person, time becomes irrelevant. Emma felt her heart skip. The way Gabriel looked at her when he said it made the lie feel dangerously close to truth. The CEO's interest days, they mingled through the crowd. Emma was amazed at how naturally Gabriel fit in. He discussed market trends with the finance team, shared travel stories with the international division, and even impressed the creative department with his knowledge of digital marketing strategies. "Your boyfriend is quite impressive," said Jonathan Sterling, the company's CEO, approaching them near the dessert table. "Gabriel, isn't it?" Emma felt Gabriel tense slightly beside her. "Yes, sir, Gabriel Stone." Jonathan's eyes sharpened with interest. "Stone, the name sounds familiar. What line of work are you in? Investment consulting?" "I help companies optimize their portfolios and identify growth opportunities." "Fascinating. We should talk sometime." Sterling Communications is always looking for fresh perspectives on investment strategies. Gabriel smiled politely. "I would be honored, Mr. Sterling." As Jonathan walked away, Emma noticed Gabriel seemed different. The relaxed, charming companion had been replaced by someone more guarded, more calculating. Ryan's move, the confrontation Emma had been dreading, finally came during dinner. Ryan approached their table with a glass of whiskey in his hand and trouble in his eyes. "Emma, you look lovely tonight," Ryan said, ignoring Gabriel completely. "I was hoping we could dance." For old time's sake. Emma felt Gabriel's hand find hers under the table. Touch was warm, reassuring. "I'm here with my boyfriend Ryan. I'm not interested in dancing with you." Ryan finally looked at Gabriel, sizing him up like a competitor. "And you are?" "Gabriel Stone," he replied, standing to shake Ryan's hand. Gabriel was taller than Ryan by several inches, and his grip was firm enough to make Ryan wince slightly. "So, Gabriel, what do you do for a living?" "I'm an investment consultant." Ryan laughed dismissively. "How nice. Consultant is such a vague term, isn't it? What kind of consulting exactly?" Emma watched as Gabriel's expression remained perfectly calm, but she sensed steel beneath the surface. "I help companies make intelligent financial decisions. Portfolio management, merger analysis, risk assessment. Impressive," Ryan said sarcastically. And I suppose you make good money at that. I do well enough. Ryan leaned closer, his voice dropping to a threatening whisper. Listen, friend. I don't know what Emma told you about us, but she's not over me. She hired you to make me jealous, but it's not working. Emma always comes back to me. Gabriel stood slowly, and suddenly the atmosphere changed. Nearby tables could feel the tension, Gabriel said quietly. I'm going to say this once. Emma is here with me tonight. She's not interested in your attention, your dances, or your conversations. If you continue to bother her, we're going to have a problem. Ryan stepped back, clearly not expecting such a firm response. You threatening me? I'm setting boundaries. Please respect them. The business emergency, just as Ryan was about to respond. Commotion erupted across the ballroom. Jonathan Sterling was on his phone, speaking in urgent, clipped tones. Other executives gathered around him, their faces grave. What's happening? Emma asked, a passing colleague. Some kind of crisis. With the Morrison account? They're threatening to pull their contract. It could cost the company millions. Emma watched as the executives huddled together, clearly out of their depth. The Morrison Group was Sterling Communications' biggest client, and losing them would be devastating. Gabriel excused himself and walked directly toward the group of panicking executives. Emma followed, curious about what he was planning. Excuse me, Mr. Sterling, Gabriel said politely. I couldn't help but overhear about the Morrison situation. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly is the issue? Jonathan looked frustrated. They're claiming we violated contract terms by not meeting their queue for performance metrics. They want to terminate immediately, and they're demanding penalty payments. Gabriel nodded thoughtfully. Have you reviewed the actual contract language? Regarding performance metrics? Of course, but their lawyers are insisting. Mr. Sterling, may I suggest something? Most contracts include force majeure clauses that account for market fluctuations beyond reasonable control. If Morrison's metrics were affected by the tech sector downturn last quarter, you might have grounds to dispute their claims. The room went quiet. Everyone stared at Gabriel, who spoke with the authority of someone who had negotiated million-dollar contracts before. Furthermore, Gabriel continued, Morrison Group recently acquired a subsidiary that changed their own performance metrics. You could argue that they're applying standards that weren't relevant when the original contract was signed. Jonathan's eyes widened. How do you know about Morrison's acquisition? Gabriel paused for just a moment. It was announced in the financial press last month. I make it my business to stay informed about major corporate movements. Emma felt a chill run down her spine. Gabriel wasn't just making suggestions. He was speaking with the expertise of someone who understood. High-level corporate strategy intimately. Growing doubts the rest of the evening passed in a blur. Gabriel had essentially saved Sterling Communications from a potential disaster, and Jonathan Sterling spent the rest of the night trying to convince Gabriel to consider consulting for the company. Emma watched it all with growing amazement and suspicion. Gabriel handled every conversation with ease, demonstrated knowledge that went far beyond basic consulting, and carried himself like someone accustomed to making important decisions. When they finally left the hotel, Gabriel called his driver. Not a taxi, but a private car service with a professional chauffeur. Gabriel, Emma said as they settled into the luxury sedan, that was incredible tonight. You basically saved my company. I just offered a different perspective. Emma studied his profile in the dim light of the car. Where did you learn so much? About corporate law and business strategy? Experience. Kind of experience. Gabriel turned to meet her eyes. Emma, does it matter? Tonight went well. Your colleagues were impressed. Ryan won't bother you anymore. Isn't that what you wanted? Emma nodded, but inside, her curiosity was burning. Gabriel had just demonstrated expertise that took years to develop. No one learned that kind of business acumen from occasional consulting. Work. As the car pulled up to her apartment building, Gabriel walked her to the door. Thank you, Emma said, for everything. You went above and beyond what I paid for. Gabriel stepped closer, and Emma's breath caught. For a moment, she thought he might kiss her, and she realized she wanted him too. Emma, he said softly, would you like to have dinner tomorrow? It's just us. No pretending, no business arrangement. Emma's heart raced. Yes. I'd like that. Gabriel smiled, the first completely genuine smile she had seen from him. I'll pick you up at 7. As he walked back to the car, Emma realized that what had started as a desperate business transaction was becoming something entirely different. Gabriel Stone was still a mystery, but he was a mystery she was beginning to care about. Sunday morning found Emma in her pajamas with her laptop. Determined to uncover the truth about Gabriel Stone, she had barely slept. Her mind racing with questions about the man who had just asked her on a real date. She started with basic searches. Gabriel Stone Investment Consultant. Gabriel Stone, New York. Gabriel Stone Business Advisor. The results were frustratingly sparse. A few mentions in LinkedIn profiles, some generic business directory listings, but nothing substantial. Then, Emma tried a different approach. She searched for Stone Enterprises, Stone Capital, Stone Investments. The third search hit the jackpot. Stone Enterprises. Founded 2019, CEO G. Stone. Headquarters, Manhattan Financial District. Assets under management, $3.2 billion. Emma stared at the screen, her coffee growing cold in her hands. The website was sleek and professional, featuring photos of gleaming office buildings and testimonials from major corporations. But what made her heart stop was the About Us section. Stone Enterprises was founded by Gabriel Stone, with a vision to revolutionize investment strategies for the digital age. Under his leadership, the company has become one of the fastest-growing investment firms in the country. Emma scrolled frantically through the site. Looking for photos of the CEO, she found several professional headshots, and there was no doubt. Gabriel Stone, her hired companion, was Gabriel Stone. Billionaire CEO. The phone call Emma's hand shook as she dialed Gabriel's number. He answered on the second ring. Emma, good morning. I was just thinking about our dinner plans. Gabriel, we need to talk now. His tone immediately became serious. What's wrong? Stone Enterprises, ring any bells? Silence stretched across the phone line. Gabriel, where are you? My apartment. And you're going to come here right now and explain to me how a billionaire CEO ends up working as a paid escort. I'll be there in 20 minutes. The confrontation. Gabriel arrived wearing jeans, in a simple sweater, looking more approachable than Emma had ever seen him. But she was too angry to be charmed by his casual appearance. Sit down, she said, pointing to her couch, and start talking. Gabriel ran his hands through his hair. Emma, I know how this looks. Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you lied to me about everything. I never lied to you. Emma pulled up the Stone Enterprises website on her laptop and showed him the screen. Gabriel Stone, CEO and founder. $3 billion in assets. That's you, isn't it? Gabriel nodded. Yes. And you didn't think that was worth mentioning when I hired you to pretend to be my boyfriend. Emma, if I had told you who I really was, would you have believed me? Would you have treated me the same way? Emma stood up, pacing across her small living room. That's not the point. The point is that you made me feel stupid. I paid a billionaire to be my fake boyfriend. You have any idea how humiliating that is? Gabriel stood as well, moving closer to her. Emma, the money meant nothing to me. I didn't do this for payment. Then why did you do it? Gabriel was quiet for a long moment, studying her face. Because I was tired of being Gabriel Stone's CEO. I wanted to be just Gabriel, a man meeting an interesting woman. I wanted someone to like me for who I am, not what I own. The truth about the arrangement sank into her armchair, overwhelmed. So this was all just entertainment for you? A rich man's game? No. Gabriel knelt beside her chair. Emma, what I felt last night, what I'm feeling now, it's real. More real than anything I've experienced in years. Emma looked into his green eyes, searching for deception. Instead, she saw vulnerability she hadn't noticed before. It's a companion service, she said slowly. How does that work? Gabriel sighed. My assistant Marcus runs a legitimate escort agency as a side business. I end professional, completely legal. When you contacted the service, Marcus brought your request to me because he thought it sounded interesting. A woman hiring a companion to handle her ex-boyfriend at a corporate event, and you decided to take the job yourself? I decided to meet you myself. Emma, I haven't been on a real date in 3 years. Every woman I meet either wants my money or my connections. You hired me to do a job which meant you had no ulterior motives. Emma felt her anger beginning to fade, replaced by confusion and something that felt dangerously like hope. Ryan's Revengemas phone rang, interrupting their conversation. The caller ID showed her office number. "Emma, thank goodness," came Jessica's voice, high-pitched with drama. "You need to get to the office immediately." "Jessica, it's Sunday." "I know, but Jonathan Sterling called an emergency meeting." "What?" "It's about you and your boyfriend." Emma's blood ran cold. "What about us?" "Ryan told Mr. Sterling that your boyfriend might be involved in corporate espionage. He's claiming Gabriel was asking suspicious questions about company finances." Gabriel was watching Emma's face, reading her expression. "I'll be there in an hour," Emma said, hanging up. Gabriel stood. "I'm coming with you, Gabriel." "No, this is my problem, Emma. This is exactly my problem. Ryan is using my presence to attack you professionally. I won't let that happen." The office showdown the Sterling Communications building felt eerie on a Sunday afternoon. Only a few cars were in the parking garage, and the executive floor was eerily quiet except for voices coming from the conference room. Emma and Gabriel found Jonathan Sterling, Ryan Mitchell, and two other executives seated around the mahogany conference table. Ryan smirked when he saw Gabriel. "Mr. Sterling," Emma said, "what's this about?" Jonathan gestured to the chairs across from them. "Please, sit down. We need to discuss some concerns that have been brought to my attention." Ryan leaned forward, clearly enjoying himself. "Emma, I've been doing some research on your boyfriend. Gabriel Stone is involved in some very questionable business practices." Gabriel's expression remained calm. "What kind of questionable practices?" "Shell companies, offshore accounts, suspicious investment patterns. The kind of thing that could damage Sterling Communications' reputation if we're associated with you." Emma felt her career crashing down around her. "Mr. Sterling, I can explain." Gabriel placed a gentle hand on her arm. "Emma, let me handle this." He turned to face Jonathan Sterling directly. "Mr. Sterling, would you mind if I made a phone call?" "Think there's been a significant misunderstanding." Jonathan nodded, confused. Gabriel pulled out his phone and dialed a number. "Marcus, it's Gabriel. I need you to conference in the Sterling Communications CEO, Jonathan Sterling, immediately." "Yes, the Morrison account situation from last night?" "No, I'm at Sterling Communications now. Use the secure line." Emma watched in amazement as Gabriel's entire demeanor shifted. Gone was the charming companion. In his place stood a commanding executive who clearly expected his orders to be followed. Without question, Gabriel's phone rang, and he put it on speaker. "Mr. Sterling, you have a call?" "Jonathan Sterling here. Mr. Sterling, this is Marcus Reed. From Stone Enterprises. I'm calling regarding Gabriel Stone, who I believe is currently in your office." Jonathan's eyes widened. "Stone Enterprises, the investment firm." "Yes, sir. Gabriel Stone is our CEO and founder. He's also one of your company's primary investors. Stone Enterprises owns approximately 18% of Sterling Communications. Through our diversified portfolio." The room fell completely silent. Ryan's smug expression vanished, replaced by horror. The power play Gabriel stood up slowly, his presence suddenly filling the room. "Mr. Sterling, let me clarify a few things. Stone Enterprises has been investing in Sterling Communications because we believe in your company's potential. Last night, when I helped resolve your Morrison Group crisis, I was protecting our investment." Jonathan Sterling had gone pale. "Mr. Stone, I had no idea you were. We're honored by your investment." Gabriel's eyes moved to Ryan, who looked like he wanted to disappear into his chair. "As for the accusations of suspicious business practices, I invite you to contact the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Internal Revenue Service, or any financial regulatory body. Stone Enterprises maintains the highest standards of legal and ethical business practices." Emma finally found her voice. "Gabriel, you own part of my company?" Gabriel looked at her with gentle eyes. "Emma, everything I told you about wanting to meet someone who didn't know who I was, that was true. I never intended for it to go this far." Ryan, desperate to salvage the situation, stood up. "This doesn't change anything. Emma still lied about hiring an escort." Gabriel's expression turned ice cold.
"I'm Mr. Mitchell."
"I suggest you be very careful about your next words. I'm not afraid of you. Gabriel smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Should be. Emma never hired an escort. She contacted a legitimate companion service for a social event. That service is owned by my company as part of our hospitality division. Everything was completely legal and above board. He turned to Jonathan Sterling. However, what concerns me is that an employee used company time and resources to conduct unauthorized investigations into a major investor's personal life. That seems like grounds for immediate termination. 20 minutes later, Ryan Mitchell was cleaning out his desk under security supervision. Jonathan Sterling had personally apologized to both Emma and Gabriel, now offering Emma the promotion to senior account manager that she had been denied months earlier. Emma and Gabriel stood in the empty conference room, finally alone. Gabriel began. I know I should have told you everything from the beginning. Emma turned to face him. Gabriel, you saved my career, protected me from Ryan, you gave me back my dignity, did what anyone who cared about you would. Emma stepped closer to him. But you're not just anyone. You're a billionaire who could have anyone you want. So, I need to ask you directly, what do you want from me? Gabriel reached for her hands. I want Sunday morning breakfasts where we read the newspaper together. I want someone who argues with me about movies and makes me laugh when I take myself too seriously. I want someone who sees Gabriel the man, not Gabriel the CEO. Emma felt tears welling in her eyes. And what about the fact that you're worth more money than I'll see in 10 lifetimes? What about it, Emma? I've had money for years. It doesn't make me happy. But these past few days with you, pretending to be your boyfriend, getting to know you, that made me happier than I've been in years. The real beginning, I looked into Gabriel's eyes and saw the man who had listened to her stories, who had made her laugh, who had protected her when she needed it most. Gabriel, if we do this, if we try to be real, no more secrets, no more lies, no more pretending. Gabriel smiled, the genuine smile that had stolen her heart at the gala. Deal. But I have one condition. What? Let me take you on a proper first date, somewhere we can just be Emma and Gabriel. No company drama, no fake relationships. Emma laughed, feeling lighter than she had in months. I'd like that. Gabriel leaned down and kissed her softly, a gentle kiss that tasted like new beginnings and infinite possibilities when they broke apart. Emma rested her forehead against his. So what happens now? Now, Gabriel said, we write our own story. No scripts, no pretending, just us. Emma smiled, realizing that what had started as a desperate attempt to avoid humiliation had led her to something she never expected to find. Genuine love with a man who chose her not because he had to, but because he wanted to. As they walked out of the Sterling Communications building together, hand in hand, Emma knew that her real love story was just beginning. Gabriel had played the role of her fake date, but his kiss had revealed the truth. Sometimes the most unexpected arrangements lead to the most extraordinary love stories. Epilogue. 6 months later, Emma stood in Gabriel's penthouse apartment. Now their shared home, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and gold. The engagement ring on her finger caught the light, simple but perfect diamond that Gabriel had chosen not for its price, but for its meaning. On the coffee table lay the latest issue of Fortune magazine with Gabriel on the cover, but next to it was a handwritten grocery list in Emma's handwriting and Gabriel's additions. The billionaire CEO who commanded boardrooms around the world had insisted on adding chocolate ice cream to their shopping list because he knew it was Emma's favorite. Their love story had started with deception, but it had grown into something completely honest. Gabriel had taught Emma that love wasn't about what someone owned, but about who they chose to be when they thought no one was watching. And Emma had taught Gabriel that the most valuable things in life couldn't be bought, measured, or invested. They could only be felt, shared, and treasured. Their fake relationship had lasted one evening. Their real love story was just beginning.